welcome to another episode of Sparring Sessions. My name's Dax. That's not Big Will. I wish it was. No offense. We got Lawson. How are you doing today, Lawson?
Yeah, good, bro. It's an honor to be on the pod. Let's go.
Glad to have you. As you can tell from the accent, hopefully tell from the accent by now, you're
I should have said good day, mate.
Good day, mate.
Started with that. Yeah.
There you go. We got a little Aussie taste. You know, UFC 312. We're gonna be breaking down picks, predictions, a little bit more here and there from the week. And I wanted to get it's going down in Sydney, Australia. I wanted to get somebody from Australia on. You're not from Sydney exactly, are you? It's a bit off.
I'm from the other side of the country, but close enough.
What's that drive to Sydney? 8 hours?
Nah, longer than that. Yeah, maybe 8, 9 hours. 8, 9. No, it's 16. It's 16 hours down to Perth, so it'd be like it's like a 2 or 3 day drive.
2 or 3 days. Okay. Australia is huge.
It's massive, bro. I thought you said flight at the start.
Yeah. Oh, flight, jeez.
Flight's like 5 hours.
Australia, something else. I will never. Maybe I'll visit one day, but the bugs, I just can't do the bugs. It's not
that bad.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. We're going to be, I mentioned already, we're going to be previewing UFC 312, Plessis versus Strickland 2. First, I want to recap last week. It was a bit of a strange card, card. Early start time, at least for us, it would have been.
It was 10 o'clock at night for me.
10 p.m. Oh boy, I don't know how you guys deal with the time zone difference over there. This card,
it's all right.
It's gonna be easier. I think this card starts at 6 p.m. our time. Was that 7 your time?
Yeah.
7 a.m.
Yep.
Wow. Best of luck. I don't think morning MMA though. I'm kind of jealous.
No, it's good.
Either way, last week Adesanya versus Imavov. I'll jump right in. Imavov knocked out Adesanya round 2. Kind of just shows more where Izzy is at this point than Imavov. Pretty cut and dry fight for me. I don't think. I think it was one of those where either one thing happens, Izzy wins, and we have very clear expectations of what goes from here, or Imavov wins, which he did. We have kind of clear expectations. Seems like he's fighting for the title next. Yeah.
Yeah. You think so?
Kind of a weird card, a lot of weird decisions, few fun knockouts, few fun fights. Anything stand out to you from last week's card you want to talk about?
I mean, the first fight of the night, Pogues and Humdy, man.
Yeah,
that was crazy. I know you picked Humdy, right? You picked Humdy.
I picked Humdy.
Yeah. So did I, but honestly, I was like a bit. How you going with that decision? But I mean, it was close. So
it was close. I won some money, so I'll take it. You are also in our picks chat. How did you do last week?
I think I did 7 correct, maybe 3 wrong, something like that.
Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad at all. I think I hit the same number. So not spend too much more on last week though. It was kind of a weird card.
I didn't mind it. There was a few good fights. Terrence McKinney did well. That was a good fight. I liked that fight.
Love Terrence McKinney fights.
Yeah.
I love them. Awesome. But we're not here to talk about last week. We're here to talk about this week, this Saturday. I guess it's Sunday for you. UFC 312. Plessis versus Strickland 2. Rematch going down in Australia from the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. We have 13 fights, 26 fighters, only 4 ranked fighters, which is crazy. Last week we had 8 ranked fighters with less fights. So,
and it was a fight night.
I don't understand that one.
Yeah,
definitely a better fight night than a pay-per-view, but
totally,
it is what they give us. And yeah, like I mentioned before, for us Eastern time zone in the U.S. folks, 6 p.m. start time. For you Aussies, well, I guess you have a bunch of different time zones, but for you at least it'd be 7, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it starts then. Let me check real quick.
Awesome. And while Austin's checking, I'm gonna jump into our first fight. I'm gonna intro Flyweight Hyung-Sung Park versus I just put Ben because his full name is too long.
Tumendemberel.
Tumendemberel. There we go. We're gonna go with his last name here. Tumendemberel. Hyung-Sung Park, you're decently big favorite. I was surprised at minus 238. Tumendemberel plus 195. So Lawson, here we have a separate betting show. So this is kind of just like our picks chat. If this were even odds, who would you pick? And even if you want to comment on the odds too, I already did my betting, but you're a betting man yourself. You might have some betting thoughts one way or the other. Where are you going with this one?
I mean, I was pretty surprised by the odds as well. Like, I think Tumendemberel did really good in his last fight, even though he lost. I believe he lost his last fight.
Yeah, but split decision.
It was a split decision, but he dropped. Who was it? Carlos Hernandez or something?
Yep.
Yeah, he dropped Carlos Hernandez in like the second round, at the very end of the round, and he looked really good. His striking's fast. Like he's a good contender, man. And I reckon the odds are pretty juicy if you're going to bet on him. But yeah,
I agree. Good fight. Hyung-Sung Park's last fight was Shannon Ross. No offense, I know he's your countryman, but Shannon Ross.
We don't claim him.
He's not the best. At least he doesn't have the best chin. He was looking okay in that, but not the best chin. Hyung-Sung Park, Tumendemberel, both road to UFC winners. I'm going to go with Hyung-Sung Park. I think the art of the knockout, Tumendemberel, it's a funny nickname. He doesn't actually knock people out really often. So I think kind of there's a little more power on Park's side. It's going to be a close fight. I wouldn't bet this in a heartbeat because, if I was, I'd probably go Tumendemberel at this price. They're very close. And I think it's going to be an exciting fight. Flyweight's always good after it.
Yep. I'm taking Tumendemberel. I'm going to have to go opposite with you. I don't know. I think the value's there if you're a betting man, but that's not what I'm worried about. I genuinely think that he has good enough striking to keep up with Park. So that's what I'm going with.
I don't hate it. Next up, I think we'll be in agreement on this one, but maybe I'm wrong. Quillian Salkilld, your first Aussie of the night. Huge favorite coming off the Contender Series win, minus 575 over Anshul Jubli, plus 425. Jubli not coming off something so great. He's coming off getting barked at by Mike Breeden and losing.
Right.
Super embarrassing. I mean, I'll go first here. The pick's Salkilld. He's the prospect. They're kind of setting him up here. And Anshul Jubli lost to Mike Breeden by getting barked at. You can't pick Jubli here, can you?
I don't know. It's pretty hard, man. He was actually looking good at the start of the fight. I believe he won the first 1.5 rounds.
Yep.
Then he just gassed out, bro, and then he turned off. Like it was embarrassing. The last half of the fight for him, it was terrible. But yeah, obviously I'm going to go with Salkilld here. Like you said, they're just getting his record looking nice. They're going to get him some bigger fights after this, I believe. And yeah, he's going to be the better man.
I'm a fan. First Aussie too. Are you our fellow picks chat member and fellow Aussie Finn sent a lengthy parlay. I think it had 4 or 5 Aussies in it.
You said
Finn, yeah. Are we expecting something from you? Do you have an all Aussie parlay that maybe kicks off here?
Definitely not all Aussies, because there is some Aussies that I don't think are going to win this card. Like, I'm sort of worried, but no, I'm definitely not doing a full Aussie card. I mean, the odds probably look really nice, but I can't go with that.
Some of them are pretty big underdogs.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'll jump right into the next one. Welterweight, Jonathan Micallef, plus 195 versus Kevin Jousset, minus 238. Micallef himself coming off the Contender Series. Great win over Muhammad Adu out of Canada. And he is your underdog in Aussie while he's on the card. He's going up against Kevin Jousset, the Frenchman that Brian Battle, we couldn't expect Brian Battle to lose to last time out.
No.
Coming off that loss. He's the favorite here, though. A little bit more experience, a little bit more of a track record. It's your turn. Micallef, Aussie, you going with your fellow countryman?
No, this is the first fight where I'm not picking an Aussie. So I'm going to go with Jousset here. I mean, I think he's, like you said, a bit more experienced. He's going to look a lot bigger in there, I think. And yeah, I think he's just going to control the arena. If you haven't seen Micallef's one of his fights on an Eternal, I believe it was Eternal or Hex before he got to the UFC. He seems to gas really late. I mean, if he gets past them first 2 rounds, he looks a bit slow. So I don't know. I think Jousset can drag him into deep waters and get the best of him, in my opinion.
I'm going to agree. I'm picking Jousset. Micallef, phenomenal jiu-jitsu. That being said, Jousset, I believe he's a judo black belt. So I think he probably has a good time. I just don't think Micallef is going to be able to get to the ground where he wants. I don't think the striking is going to bother Jousset. And like you mentioned, cardio is definitely on Jousset's side. So
for sure,
might be a bummer for the Aussie crowd. You'll still be waking up though. It won't be that.
That's right. That's right. And we'll be coming off that Salkilld win. So
yeah, exactly.
That's right. That's right. Don't worry
up
about
and
it.
down.
That's right.
Next up, lightweight Rongzhu, former UFC fighter, lost out of the UFC, fought his way back through road to UFC. He won the whatever you want to call it last season of Road to UFC. Yep. He's facing Cody Steele, minus 218. Cody Steele coming off a Contender Series win with body shots. He's kind of fallen in love with his hands, but he is a world-class grappler. His record isn't phenomenal, but he's facing guys like the Rotolos, Mason Fowler, a few other names. I was looking at his grappling record. It's littered with jiu-jitsu names that one might recognize. So even if he's not beating those guys, he's still competing there. But like I said, he has some hands. I'll kind of kick this one off first. The pick is Steele. His world-class jiu-jitsu. I mean, Rongzhu's been subbed several times. Rongzhu got subbed by Ignacio Bahamondes, and I don't like that.
No, that sounds bad.
It sounds real bad. And yeah, Steele has hands. Steele, I mean, hopefully he doesn't just stand and bang with Rongzhu. Maybe hopefully for us, but that's kind of how Rongzhu wins a lot of these fights. So I kind of like Steele. I'm hoping he uses his grappling in this fight. What about you?
I'm going to agree. I'm going with Steele as well. And like you say, you think he's going to try to use his grappling? I think he's just going to go guns blazing. I think he's going to get the best of Rongzhu, honestly. I mean, we've seen his hands. Obviously, recency bias. We've seen him knocking dudes out. But, it's underrated. People still sort of sleep on it. But I do think he's going to get the best of him, catch that chin.
Yeah. Maybe we get Ilya. We're going to talk about a different Topuria soon, but Ilya Topuria kind of came in. I thought the same things. He fell in love with his hands. He was a grappler in Cage Warriors, and I said, why is this guy striking? He's winning, but his skill is grappling, and I guess I've been proven wrong. He's been winning. He's been striking his way to a title. Knocked out Max Holloway. Nothing happened before that, but
no, we don't want to talk about that. AI generated.
AI generated indeed. So yeah, the pick is Cody Steele here.
Yep, I'm gonna have to agree.
Next up, all the way down to Bantamweight, Colby Thicknesse. Now you told me you're an Aussie. You told me Thicknesse is right. I'm gonna go Thicknesse here. Colby's Thicknesse plus 340. Where's Alexandre Topuria minus 440? This is kind of a short notice fight. Topuria, a big favorite here, huge favorite. He was supposed to fight Cody Haddon, fellow Aussie on the not fellow Aussie. Topuria's Spanish and Georgian and probably a bit of German too. But he was supposed to fight Cody Haddon. Haddon pulled out. Now we get debut newcomer Colby Thicknesse. This is a little bit of a notable fight. Topuria, obviously, you see the last name, brothers with Ilya, current featherweight champion. Actually, a bit older than Ilya, I believe a year, despite making his debut much after him. And Thicknesse, he may not be relating to anybody, but in his corner is the man Ilya beat for the title, Alexander Volkanovski. They're
I don't
close
remember that.
partners. It didn't happen.
I don't remember that.
Reports say that.
Yeah, allegedly.
We'll have to confirm. But yeah, so this is kind of a proxy war, if you might say. Topuria's brother versus Volk's training partner.
Mm-hmm.
It's your turn. I don't like the odds, but we're not. This isn't the gambling podcast. Who are you picking here?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Thicknesse here. I looked at Topuria's record, and he got knocked out by some Brazilian Uber driver, I believe. So, I know Spanish guy, some Spanish dude, and he was debuting. It was his debut. So I don't know. Like, I haven't seen his hands or anything, but I know that he is a good grappler, just like Topuria, his younger brother. But Thicknesse, I mean, this is an exciting fight for him. And he says he does well under pressure. I mean, it's short notice, like you say. It's going to be interesting. I'm backing Thicknesse here. I reckon he's going to expose Topuria, going to make them odds look terrible. And if you're a betting man, jump on the boy, really. Like you say, like Volk's in his corner. He trains with high-level dudes, really great guys. Same can be said about Alexandre, but come on, Volk's the GOAT.
Volk is a GOAT. I'm going to go with Topuria here. I really don't like short notice guys. And especially, I think if this were even, maybe, and at these odds, I'd definitely pick Thicknesse. But, Topuria, they're both just well-rounded guys in general. I just think Topuria does everything a little bit better than Thicknesse. Cardio, I'd say he gasses out a little bit. Topuria does in the later rounds. But that being said, this is, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe notice for Thicknesse. So I don't expect his cardio to be phenomenal either. Mm-hmm. I'm going Topuria. Definitely not betting this. Never touching this line.
I don't hate that pick, honestly. It is a hard pick. It's a hard pick.
It's tough.
Yep.
This next one may be a little bit tough as well. Women's flyweight. Wing Cong minus 440 versus Bruna Brasil plus 340. Wing Cong came into the UFC with some hype. She had beaten Valentina Shevchenko in a Muay Thai or kickboxing fight way back.
I think it was Muay Thai, yeah.
Muay Thai. I'll take your word for it. Won her first fight, destroyed the women's GOAT, Victoria Leonardo, one of the best to ever do it. And then was a minus 1,100 favorite and lost to Gabriela Fernandez in her last fight. Got choked. I don't think it was fully to sleep, but got choked pretty bad.
She almost got put out before she got choked. Yeah.
She's coming back against Bruna Brasil. Fighting nerd, just beat Molly McCann. This is an interesting fight. I don't love the odds again, but it's my turn. I'm gonna pick Wing Cong. I just think the athleticism's there. Brazil has been knocked out, and we know Cong has some power. So I'm not super confident, but yeah, I'm gonna go Wing Cong. How about you, Lawson?
I mean, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go Wing Cong. But notably, Brazil has a fantastic knockout on the Contender Series with that head kick, Manic Man.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That was a great knockout.
Yeah.
That was an out cold, like Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman style knockout. That was cool. She's got power. She's got good kicks. But, yeah, I mean, Kong's last fight didn't go very well, but it started all right. She was doing good, and I think she got too confident, honestly. She got cocky, and she got caught. I think she almost got knocked out, and then she got submitted, if I remember correctly.
She got head kicked herself.
Yeah. And then it all went downhill from there. But I think she's going to recover this fight. I mean, she probably learned a few lessons, but she's going to come in, like you say, she beat Shevchenko back in the day. So she's got that experience against high-level guys or girls. And, yeah, I'm going to go with Cong.
Yeah. The size is another thing, too, here. Brazil, career strawweight, moving up to fight Cong. I don't think has ever fought at strawweight. I believe she's fought at women's bantamweight as well. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully a good fight. Hopefully we get, we need some women flyweight prospects. So
good knockout
there.
Two great fighters, man. That'll be a good fight.
Next up, lightweight. This is a banger. This is the fight I picked last week for my favorite fight from this card. Tom Nolan, Big Train, plus 114 versus Vyacheslav Borshchev, minus 135. We don't call him that. We call him Slava Claus. Tom Nolan, pretty hyped contender series guy, came in, lost his first fight. He got knocked out, and then has won 2 in a row, most recently taking a decision off Alex Reyes, younger brother of former light heavyweight, should have been champion Dominic Reyes.
I agree.
On the other side, Vyacheslav Borshchev, kickboxing world champion in an organization I couldn't exactly I couldn't remember. Wasn't notable enough for me to pick it up, but kickboxing world champion nonetheless. He's had a pretty up and down UFC career. He is let me take a look. 3-3-1. Yeah, so kind of a weird one. Coming off a win, split decision win over James Yontop, who is no longer in the UFC. Before that, got pieced up and then Darce choked by Chase Hooper. Weird stoppage, but he was losing pretty badly. Kind of a striker's delight. I'll go first. I'm going Tom Nolan. If you listen to the betting episode, you know I'm going Tom Nolan. Jeannie did too. Weird, really weird line. I don't know why he's an underdog here. I think, if you're getting pieced up on the feet by Chase Hooper and Nazim Sadykhov, you're probably, I'd say Tom Nolan is a better striker than both of them. Plus, Tom Nolan can grapple if he needs to. I don't think it's the main thing he wants to do, but I think Tom Nolan's going to win here. Wouldn't shock me if Slavikos did, but Tom Nolan's my pick. Awesome.
I like it. Yeah, I'm going to go Tom Nolan as well. I mean, he's a bit taller, a bit longer, a bit more clean striking. I mean, he's straight down the pipe sort of style. Borshchev or Slavikos, he's great as well, great on the feet, man. But like you said, he really lacks in the grappling. So if Nolan wants to and it goes there, he's going to have the advantage. So I'm going to go with Tom. Fellow Aussie again. I'm not being biased, by the way.
I agree. Yeah, I forgot to mention Australia representing out of Queensland, Toowoomba.
Yep, perfect.
I don't think we have any New Zealanders on this card, do we? Just Aussies.
Just Aussies, man.
Wow. Sweet. And we got an Aussie in our next fight, too. Featherweight, Jack Jenkins, plus 190 versus Gabriel Santos, minus 230. Jenkins, another guy, both of these guys have had weird UFC careers. Jenkins came in, 1-2, lost via injury to, who does he lose to? This is going to bother me now. He lost via injury to
Mariscal.
Chape Mariscal, yeah. I was there live, actually.
Wow.
In Jacksonville, Florida. It was a weird card.
Yeah. He broke his arm or something. He got slammed.
Yeah, he fell and hurt his shoulder, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Weird fight. On the other side, Gabriel Santos came in the UFC, debuted short notice versus Jerome Murphy. Good win. Good loss, I should say.
Yeah,
lost.
It was a close fight, yeah.
Many people thought he won. I had money on Murphy, so I didn't, but I'm going to admit my bias there. And then he got KO'd by David Onama, I believe, on that same card as Jenkins lost in Jacksonville. I was also there. And then came back and got a win against Yijia.
Yes.
So, kind of a weird one. Both guys, we'll call it up and down UFC careers. It's your turn first. Jenkins, the Aussie, kind of maybe the hometown spirit behind him. Are you going with Jenkins?
I'm going with Jenkins. I mean, you say up and down career, but he's only had that one injury loss, really.
True.
So like he's been breaking dudes' legs. He's got incredibly hard leg kicks. I don't know what his legs are made out of, but he's breaking dudes' legs. His last fight with Herbert Burns, I was actually there in Perth.
Oh, really?
That was a great fight to watch. Herbert Burns gave up and cried like he always does. And yeah, I think he's going to get the better of Santos. I mean, it's an interesting fight. Like, I can see this fight going either way, but this is a good underdog pick if you're a betting man as well.
I agree. I'm going Jenkins as well. I don't know why Santos is such a big favorite. I don't know. I think it might be maybe the Lerone Murphy performance. I don't know if the books are that sharp on watching that much tape, but Jenkins has looked great in the UFC. One weird fight. I think he can kind of pick Gabriel Santos apart. I was pretty high on Gabriel Santos at one point, but losing 2 in a row, Dija isn't the best win in the UFC. It kind of feels like a pretty big underdog spot. UFC Genie and I are friend, and me, Will too. We all picked him last week, or not last week, in the last episode in the bets. He's in our Sparring Sessions bet parlay, so we like him. Good to know you do too.
Yep, I'm riding with Jack for sure.
Next up, going up to welterweight, weird fight. Jake Matthews, Celtic kid, minus 225 versus Francisco Prado, plus 185. Matthews, very up and down UFC career. I believe he's on a win streak. Kind of just wins against bad guys and then loses against good guys. And also Matthew Semmelsberger. Prado, 1-2 in the UFC. Coming off a loss to Daniel Zellhuber at lightweight. He's coming up in weight. This is a weird one. I believe I'm kicking us off. I'm going to go with Prado. I don't know. I don't think Jake Matthews is phenomenal. I think Prado's got some power. We saw in the Semmelsberger fight, Matthews that was one of those classic Semmelsberger wins where he loses essentially 3 rounds except for one punch he lands in each, and so he wins, by enough power to take it. I think Prado can do it here. He also kind of looks like Steve from Minecraft.
He really does. It's that head.
It's the head.
Yeah.
Min Yang Zhang. Shout out the Min Yang Zhang fan page.
We love that guy.
Love that guy, kind of. But yeah, we'll have to have him on whenever Min Yang Zhang fights. But yeah, I'm going Prado against the Aussie Jake Matthews, Celtic kid. What about you?
I mean, I'm going to go with Matthews on this one.
Yeah,
I think his career has been up and down. Like, I feel like you watch him win, then you watch him lose. It's like he's sort of on and he's off. A couple of fights, he's had really close fights, but like, if you look at the Fialho fight, he started the downfall of Andre Fialho. So, I mean, that's saying something. He was a good contender at one point until he wasn't. But like, yeah, I mean, the Semmelsberger fight, I agree with you on that totally. But yeah, other than that, he's been all right. I mean, like, some of his fights have been sort of weird, but I think this one's going to suit him really well.
Interesting. Do you dislike the line, or do you think it's about where it should be?
I don't like Matthews being a favorite. I think it should be a lot closer than that. But yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know. Matthews were a dog, I'd probably look at him, but Prado's a big dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, another weird line in this next one. Light heavyweight jumping all the way up here. Jimmy Crute, fellow Aussie, coming back after a long layoff. I think I'm going to double check this. Yeah, his last fight was July of 2023, so not quite 2 years, but close. And he is 0-3-1 in his last 4. Granted, great guys. Got Anthony Smith there. That was a weird one with the leg injury. Kind of just a nerve died or something. Got brutally knocked out by Jamal Hill. Brutally knocked out. And then had a weird draw and then lost to Alonzo Menafield in the rematch. 3 top 15 guys and a former world champion. So nothing to shake your head at. And yeah, he's coming back. This is his comeback fight, and he is coming back against Rodolfo Bellato, a guy who has also had a weird UFC career, but one that's a lot shorter. Beat Ihor Potieria in a crazy fight. That was a war, back and forth. He's one of the few guys Potieria's looked decent against until he just gassed out and lost. But yeah, that being said, I don't know why Crute is the underdog here. I mean, I know he's lost four of his last four, if you include the draw in there. But he's a pretty good fighter. He's got a few good wins on his record. And Bellato, I don't know, getting dropped and almost finished by Ihor Potieria just puts a bad taste in my mouth. He also lost to Vitor Petrino before, known guy who gets knocked out and doesn't knock too many people out. So yeah, I'm going Jim Crute. I don't know what he's going by these days, but yeah, I also picked him in our betting spread last week. I'm kind of guessing. Are you with me on this one?
I'm totally with you, 100%. I mean, like you say, his last few fights are against notable people.
Yeah.
And the Smith fight was really weird. Like when his leg he couldn't stand up. He was still defending really well. Like Smith couldn't finish him. I think went to the next round. They went to the bell.
It was one of those, the round stopped and the doctor came in and stopped.
That's right. Yeah. It almost went to the next round, but he wouldn't have been able to stand up anyway. But he was doing really well. Like he had the heart to keep going in that fight. And then obviously he got knocked out. He almost got killed by Jamal Hill, but former champion. He's great. He's a great striker. But yeah, I don't think Bellato's seen enough like this sort of level that Jimmy's seen. So yeah, I'm going with Crute. And what are the odds here? He's a favorite.
Crute is a plus 136.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good odds. I'm going to jump on that then.
Yeah, I bet it myself in our bets episode.
Yep, I like it.
Sweet, an agreement there. I don't know if we're going to be in agreement here. I'm curious. Heavyweight Justin Tafa plus 114 versus Taushin Teixeira. This is your featured bout, your third fight from the top, and it's got a debuting Taushin Teixeira in it, against Justin Tafa, who lost his last fight. Kind of a weird career in the UFC. Lost this to Jorgen De Castro, Carlos Boy Felipe, and Jared Vanderup in the UFC. That doesn't look good. That being said, he kind of rebounded, wins Harry Hunsucker, Parker Porter, Austin Lane, and then lost to Carl Williams in his last fight. He's definitely of the Mark Hunt lineage, great striker until somebody tries to take you down, and then horrible fighter. Kind of same as his brother. I don't know. It's your turn. Oh, sorry, I got to introduce Teixeira too. Taushin Teixeira, debut minus 135, coming off a Contender Series win over Arthur Lopez. This is a guy, he is huge, 6'7". He's got at least a few inches of reach on Tafa. Tafa, no offense, he's definitely a heavyweight. He's a bit of a sloppy fatty. We love our sloppy fatty heavyweights here. Taushin Teixeira, not a sloppy fatty. Pretty in shape, big guy, tall guy, long guy. Watch it.
Whoa.
I don't know. Are you picking your countryman here?
I mean, this is a weird one. We got a new guy coming in. I mean, like Tafa, when it comes to banging, I'm picking Tafa all day. I mean, if someone has the slightest bit of grappling, I'm not picking Tafa, but it's going to be a brawl, I think. I mean, someone's getting knocked out. If someone doesn't get knocked out, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, Teixeira looks great striking. He's knocked people out with head kicks, I think. Yeah. I think Tafa's going to just Mike Tyson his way into a knockout here.
I would hope that would probably be a little more entertaining. That being said, I'm going to Teixeira. a heavyweight who punches to the body and kicks to the body, more importantly, that's a big deal, especially against Tafa, who does not, how do I say this? He's not a technical striker at all.
No.
And I think Texeira can kind of shut him down a little bit, to maybe tire him out a little bit. I don't know. Tafa's really tough. So I don't think he's getting knocked out immediately. I think it's one of those more, overtime attrition ones. But I'm not confident. This is a really weird fight for third from the top.
I'm interested in this fight.
Yeah. No, this is a great fight. This belongs in the co-main. Could maybe even headline a bad pay-per-view. I mean, this is a bad pay-per-view, but this were headlining, it would be a lot worse. That strawweight co-main event, the champion, Zhang Weili, -108, number 2 pound for pound rank. This is a pretty good pound for pound card. We'll talk about the next pound for pound matchup in a second, but yeah, champion, number 2 pound for pound rank, Zhang Weili, coming off a win last April. Not the most active fighter. Last April, UFC 300 over Yan Xiaonan. I was actually there live for that one. That was a good fight.
Good God.
She's 2-time champion, strung together a few wins in a row now. Some great wins in there. She's fighting Tatiana Suarez, number 1 contender and number 10 pound for pound, despite not really fighting that much in the past few years. Tatiana Suarez took a few years off. Well, let's be real. She's taken a few years off in between most of her fights. Last fight was in August of 2023, and she had another fight before that. And then before that, she hadn't fought since 2019. That being said, she's coming off a submission win over Jessica Andrade. I wasn't a big fan of her getting this title shot, actually. 2 years off. Andrade just kind of faltered a bit, we've seen. And I thought Verna deserved it a little more. That being said, I'm not going to complain. Good fight. Suarez, world champion wrestler, I believe engaged. They're married or engaged to Patchy Mix. Bellator, maybe PFL, he's got a belt somewhere in the Bellator PFL organization. World champion. There we go. That's what we're going to call him.
We'll call him that.
And kind of been plagued by injuries, cancer, neck injuries, mental injuries. I think at one point. It's my turn. I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to go Weili. I'm going to go Weili here. I think Suarez's time off and injuries just kind of hampered her way too much. I'm never a fan of somebody taking 2 years off, and coming back to a title fight. That seems kind of weird. Weili's not super inactive herself, but she is very, let's face it, she's very good. Does the wrestling scare me a little bit from Suarez? Yes, that's how Weili lost her most recent fight against, or not her most recent loss was by wrestling. That being said, I think Rose kind of surprised her with the wrestling in that fight. I'm thinking she can kind of just hoss Suarez around here, beat her on the feet. Am I confident? No. I'm going to bet her anyway, though. What about you? Who you got here?
I like it. I'm going with Weili as well. I mean, she's a great champion. Like you said, Suarez, I mean, her career looks really good. You look at it on paper, it looks amazing. She's got lots of finishes, finishing so many girls out there. But a lot of people are counting Weili out. Like straight away, you see on social media, like a lot of people are just saying, this is all Suarez. She's a killer and so on. But, Weili, I think it's a big step up from Jessica Andrade.
Oh, yeah.
So Weili, I'm taking her. I mean, what are the odds here? They're very close.
-108 Weili. I think I actually just saw her drop down to an underdog. Let me double check.
Okay. Right.
UFC.
Well, I like Weili in this one for sure.
Yeah, Weili, you can get her right now on DraftKings +100. I don't know what you use down in Australia, but
yeah, we got a few. I mean, I don't really understand your betting.
Oh, you don't? Oh, yeah, you
the
use
negative and positive.
You use
we used
the right way. Ugh.
Yeah, it makes way more sense.
It does make way more sense. I don't understand it. +100, even money. You bet $100. I think it's 2.0 for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do as
They're
well.
good odds. She's slowly been creeping up. I mean, I don't know what the bookmakers know, but they know something. It's a hard one to pick.
Yeah. We were talking about this on the betting episode. Suarez opened as a huge underdog. Maybe not huge, comparatively. Plus 172, down to minus 120 now. Yeah. Jay Wiley, minus 225, down to plus 100. That makes no sense to you, but
Sort of. I sort of understand it.
yeah, should be a good fight. Should be a good fight. I think we get a finish here. And
yeah, I agree.
I like it. Main event time. Middleweight championship of the world. The champion, Dricus du Plessis, number 7 ranked pound for pound. He's a minus 205 against Sean Strickland, number 1 contender, number 14 pound for pound. Former champion. This is a rematch, actually, of last January. Dricus du Plessis took the bout off Strickland then. Both have had wins since. Du Plessis beat Izzy. Strickland beat Paulo Costa. That was who, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
And so, yeah, we're getting a rematch here. Du Plessis, South African, undefeated. Very weird guy. Very weird UFC career. But I guess you could kind of say the same thing for Sean Strickland, the American, bold and brash. He's an interesting guy. He's had I've been saying for a while that he had a career resurgence because you look at him, he was a welterweight and he was getting beat by Kamaru Usman and Oleski dos Santos. Not bad losses, but for a champion. And then you remember he had that motorcycle accident. He was out for 2.5 years, came back, won a bunch, lost a few in middleweight, but against good guys, Pereira, Cannonier. And then he went on to win the title. I think, call it a career resurgence, maybe the time off, move up helped him, whatever it may be. But yeah, kind of a weird fight. This is you first. Main event, probably go down to like 1 p.m. your time tomorrow. Rematch. First one was super close. You see this one going the same way?
I don't know if you can tell by my accent, but I'm going to have to go with Dricus on this one. He's my brew from South Africa. So yeah, I'm taking Dricus for sure, man. I mean, you look at Strickland's career, and it's like he's sort of in middleweight. He sort of fell into that title shot against Izzy at the perfect time. Honestly, it couldn't have been better for him, and it worked out obviously in his favor. We saw him drop Izzy in the first round. That was incredible, and then Izzy just never recovered. I mean, it was perfect. He did really well against Izzy, but I mean, I actually picked him in the last fight against Dricus, and I thought he won. Honestly, I thought it was a really close fight. I thought he won, but I wasn't mad that Dricus got the decision. I think it's going to be a totally different fight this time. I see Sean getting hurt. Like it's before long you're going to get caught by Dricus's weird running in left and rights. It's like no one can train for that unless you've got some weird spastic in your gym that just perfectly mirrors exactly what Dricus does in there. But yeah, I'm taking my boy Dricus.
I'm also going DDP. I don't love the odds. If it were closer, I'd feel much more confident. But I think he just, what's that old saying? You level up 20% when you become champion. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of the case here. Definitely had some more time to fight Strickland. And I think, people say a lot, coaches say a lot, but after DDP had his nose surgery, they were saying his cardio was a nose issue, whereas whatever it was, I kind of agree. He's been taking it to a second gear in his past few fights, and I think that's just going to kind of grow. His cardio is going to get better and better as he works to take advantage of his new nose, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I like him. I like him as a fighter too. I think he's super entertaining. I love his whole shtick of like all the analysts trying to break down the stuff he does and saying how high level it is. He's just like, what? No, what are you talking
about? That's great. Yeah.
And DDP has only ever really lost. He lost to Soldic way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Got knocked out after beating Soldic, and then before that, way back in 2014. So I'm not even going to count that one. I just think he's on a really good streak, and I think he continues it here.
Yeah, I used to hate DDP, man, and
Me
then
too.
I slowly he grew on me. I just love his personality as well. It's awesome. Also, I was there in Perth when he knocked out Izzy, or when he submitted Izzy. So that was interesting. Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome. I used to hate him too when he knocked out Bobby Knuckles. I was not a fan.
Yeah.
But I guess that goes to show where the growth one can do.
Yes. Sport moves quick, man.
All right. Next up, you know it. You love it. Regional minute. It's never a minute, but I'm going to go through anyway. Action that is not the UFC this week. I'm going to go through it. We have a decent amount of MMA, some I'll call it Muay Thai. It's mainly a Muay Thai card, some bare knuckle boxing. So yeah, jumping right in. Friday, we kick it off 4 p.m. Fury FC. This is Friday the 7th of February. On Fight Pass, 4 p.m. here in the Eastern time zone. 4 Dana White Contender Series, UFC, Tough Vets, Bantamweight Champ is on the line, Championship. That will be a good one. Invicta FC, our ladies. Invicta FC 60 going down at 5:30 p.m. on CBS. Maybe Paramount. I don't know. It's nobody's quite sure. Another 4 Bellator, UFC, Dana White Contender Series vets. It's actually going down to my city. Not 20 minutes from me in Atlanta. I'm not going, but it is going down here. LFA 201 also Friday at 7 p.m. The Strawweight Championship and the Interim Men's Flyweight Championships are on the line. Should be some good fights there. One Fight Night 28, 8 p.m. on Friday on Prime Video. The Flyweight Muay Thai Championship is on the line. I don't recognize a ton of names here, mostly Muay Thai, but one puts on a pretty good card here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Uriah Faber A1C 26 at 11 p.m. They're over on the west coast of the U.S., so it's 8 p.m. over there for them. No title fights, but Nick Maximov, former UFC fighter, in the main event. Maybe aiming at a shot back. Our friend Cougs of MMA Prospects thinks that this is his shot back into the UFC. I'm not going to disagree.
No.
Jumping over to Saturday, 4 p.m. in the morning for us here in the Eastern time zone. Eternal MMA 92 on the Saturday the 8th. On Fight Pass, you got the welterweight and the featherweight championships on the line. This is kind of off the cuff. I didn't prepare you for this. And, do you know anybody on this card? Or is there anything that we should look out for? They
Let me have a look at this card. Let me have a look
card
real quick.
Same weekend. I'll run through the other ones while you're taking a look. Super quick. Also on Saturday, 10 a.m., ACA 183, you got the finals of the middleweight and welterweight tournaments, and you got Albert Tumenov fighting in the welterweight one, younger brother of Babert Tumenov. Last but not least, you got Bare Knuckle Fight Night, Newcastle, 1 p.m. on Triller. Not a recognizable name on the card, but if you like Bare Knuckle, you'll probably like it. So yeah, you see anybody on this? I recognize a few names on this Eternal card, but
yeah,
stands out to you?
The main event looks really nice. Costello and Martinez. That's a pretty good fight. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of these guys, but I know it's going to be. I think it's going to be mainly a striking fight. This main event. Yeah. So we'll see what these guys do. I mean, Eternal's always fun.
Eternal is always fun. I'm a big fan of David Martinez, Sebastian Salai, however you say that.
Oh, yeah.
In the co-main.
Yep.
Yeah, go check out our friend Cougs at MMA Prospects on Instagram. He does a lot of these. He's got a few of these fights posted. Yeah, some early. If you want to wake up that early over here or over there, I'm assuming it's 5 p.m. Some an appetizer for the pay-per-view the next day.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a regional minute. Last but not least, looking ahead to next week, we have back in the Apex, unfortunately, but we got a hell of a main event. UFC Fight Night, Ken Neer versus Rodriguez. That's right. We have Jared Ken Neer versus RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez. Banger of a main event. Does not belong in the Apex.
No way.
Calvin Cater, Yusuf Zalal in the co-main. Great fight. Lawson, what is the fight you're most looking forward to next week?
Like you just said, man, the main event. That's an absolute banger, and it does not belong in the Apex. But I mean, some Apex fights like this are great. Like you sort of you hear everything, you see everything. It feels like you're in there with the boys. But yeah, it's going to be a great fight. I mean, yeah, Rodriguez and Cannonier. It's going to be a heavy hitting fight. We'll see where it goes, man.
I agree. Just to differ from you, that's probably mine too. But just to mention something else, I'm going to go Gabriel Bonfim and Chaos Williams. Big fan of both those guys.
Ooh,
that one should be a banger. Yeah, Gregory. Well, let's just call him RoboCop. That's his name. Big fan. Podcast favorite from Killcliff. We actually met him. We were at an Orlando card, and he was there, and we got a picture. I'll put it up for next week's card when Big Will and I do the preview. But yeah, so that is UFC 312. That's the week ahead. Next week we'll preview. Pretty good card. Lawson, thank you so much for coming on. Love to have the Aussies on for the Aussie card.
Thanks for having me, man. Both, man. I mean, it's not the greatest card in the world. Let's be honest, but yeah, I am excited. There's a few that I'm keen to watch. So yeah, obviously I'm going to be tuning in. It'll be a good night.
Awesome. If you like Australian MMA, this is your Super Bowl.
For sure.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. We'll definitely have you back for the next Aussie card. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.